All right, and we're live. All right, I'm so excited, so honored to have Rick Frisk here on the Move Happy Movement podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Erin. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. It's been a long time. So for those that don't know your background, quick recap. You and I met at a really cool jazz roaring 20s party.
Yep.
I snuck in there by adding my musical talent. There was a bunch of millionaires at this party, a bunch of top income earners, a bunch of volunteers for this direct sales industry. And I remembered you walking up to me and you were just like, I'm so impressed that you got to this party because I don't know your background, but the fact that you went to the voice auditions, that's just really cool. And I just remember you giving me a hand up in that moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I saw you on stage and I saw you speaking to thousands of people. So it was really cool. So for those that didn't know that, that's how we initially connected.
Good day.
You've got a huge background in the medical industry and whatnot. And you're really good at just like creating and starting new businesses and whatnot, just from my experience, what I've heard you share in front of large audiences and whatnot. Why don't you share your origin story? Like, how did you get to that point, and where are you at right now, and where do you see yourself headed in the future?
Medical industry was something I never thought I'd do, to be honest with you. I raced motorcycles, and I raced motorcycles professionally until I was about 27 years old, which was pretty exciting. And then I got out into what's called the real world, and I got a job, and then I got my real world paycheck. And I was like, I got to go do something. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And this is obviously back in the day. This was quite a long time ago. But, you went from earning over six figures a year to earning $325 a week for working. And unfortunately, I didn't go to college. I got sponsored at a very young age, and that was a career path I chose. So I was looking into various things, and how I got into the medical industry was just a crazy story, like probably a lot of people have. I was playing basketball with a guy, and he was talking about these new lasers that were going to be laser hair removal, FDA approved. And at that time, I had financially gone through taking all the money that I had saved over my life and investing in a 5-acre piece of land in California, and going as far as putting in streets and sidewalks and street lamps. And then the market crashed, and I literally had to borrow $100,000 to give to the bank, in addition to the land and all my other property, to walk away from not doing bank. So at that time, life was exciting. I was sleeping on an air mattress in my mother-in-law's house, pregnant with our first daughter, and going, I got to figure something out here. And playing basketball, I met that gentleman, and he got me excited about the industry. But then decided he was concerned that, we would grow the business too fast and too big, and didn't want to do it. But unfortunately, he already got me excited. So I went and opened up our first location, and within 5.5 years, we had 78 med spas. We had 70 franchises. And then we had a large company come up and say, hey, we want to buy you for more money than, honestly, we'd ever even conceived. And it was a win-win situation. And then from there, it ended up in surgery. I went from that business into plastic surgery. I'm not a doctor. So I had like a facilities management agreement, and I worked with a good friend of mine that was a physician, and we didn't grow that big, but we grew it to 7 locations. We had very strong revenue, and then we sold that business in December of 2018.
Okay. You've done a lot. That was a lot to digest, and it's so cool that you're like, I'm not a doctor, but boom, 7 franchises in my name. You partner with people that do it. That's very intelligent. For those that don't think they can't start their own business because they don't have the degrees or they don't have the expertise. They didn't go to college. Like, that's huge. Just sharing that information. There's got to be a lot of mindset involved in that. That's the first pillar of Move Happy. What would you say, just from your expertise in all the industries and your personal experience as well, what would you say would be like your key things about keeping a positive mindset if people are interested in, the industries that you represent?
The one thing about me is I've never claimed to be the smartest guy in the room, but I always try to hang out with the smartest people. And I've always tried to hang out with people that were smarter than I was. Being self-motivated was, luckily for me, I fantastic grandfather and I had a fantastic dad. And they always taught me, the number one person you got to love and the number one person you have to believe in is you.
Yeah.
And so I've been pretty fortunate, and maybe some of it's naive to think I could go out and accomplish whatever I put my mind to.
Yep.
But I'm a huge student of self-development, and I always have been,
Yep.
So I think those are the traits. If you just say, what traits do you have? I just always believe in myself, and I always stay positive. I mean, you've known me for a long time.
Yep.
If I'm having, how's your day? My day's great. Awesome. Fantastic. If I'm having a bad day, I go, unbelievable. Sounds really positive, because if I told you what was going on, you wouldn't believe it. Right. And I just, I leave it at that for sure.
Yes. Love it. Yeah. And that's very much NLP just what you brought to mind, just the neuro-linguistic programming. Tony Robbins uses it a lot. A lot of people use that. Reframing. Don't speak what you're actually feeling. Speak what you want to feel like and attract that into you. So that's awesome. Great tips. I definitely am in alignment with getting connected to those that feel like they're a few steps ahead of me. And that's why I wanted to get to that party. So I'm glad I knew jazz music enough to like pop in there and add value. So that's cool. Awesome. So you kind of touched on this. Second pillar of Move Happy is about building community. And it's a very open-ended question, but in general, what are some things you've learned along the way for someone that might be struggling building community and they want to build a business, or building community and they want to get into direct sales or the medical industry?
Yeah, honestly, I would say don't be afraid, for one. Like I have a 10-year-old daughter. The best thing about being 10 years old? You don't know that you don't have friends. You don't know that you can't talk to people. And I think as we grow up and we get older and we become more mature, we think, oh, there's a barrier there. That barrier's in our mind. I try to stay as open as positive. I try to be friendly as I can to anyone. And if I see someone that I want to meet that intrigues me, that's accomplished something, or doing something that maybe I don't understand or I want to understand, I just go up and be as friendly as I can and ask them questions, And I think, honestly, a lot of people are flattered. And I think it's our nature to want to help people. And I think it's our nature to be happy. There's a lot of stresses in life. So I just try to stay away from those stresses.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the internet on my end cut out a little bit, but just to restate what I heard you say, don't be afraid to meet people, talk to people in any opportunity you can. I remember a specific example you gave in one of your speeches where you fly a lot and you were like, I could sit here on the plane and take that time to look at my email, or I could make that decision to talk to the person next to me and be curious and create an opportunity to meet a new person, which you're living the example of building community. So awesome tips. Did I miss anything there from the internet glitch?
No, I think you're spot on. I just flew Sunday, and I sat next to a guy, Sasha, that's a skydiver, just a great guy, works for Amazon, and we're going to meet and have drinks tonight. Don't know about him, but he's very intriguing, and I'd like to go skydiving. Actually, I didn't know I did, but after talking to him,
me too. I want in on this. Yes.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll try it. Yeah.
Awesome. So third pillar, speaking of movement and jumping out of things, third pillar of Move Happy is movement related. Started with a program I created in a psych hospital. So with the idea, the intent, we had zero budget. So I created a program that was minimal equipment and minimal cost and whatnot. So with that in mind, what are some of your most enjoyable activities that you like to do to move your body that don't really cost a lot?
I work out a lot. You know me. I mean, I've raced motorcycles for a long time. So unfortunately, I broke a lot of stuff. Doesn't matter how good of a rider you are. I like physically, I like to work out. I work out 5-6 days a week. And then I do a lot of outdoor activities. I mean, I've got a great dog that's sitting here watching me right now. He's like my best buddy. I take him out on a daily basis, 2 to 3 times a day,
Awesome.
and if anywhere I go, he goes with me. But, and like I said, reading is something that I do a lot of. And believe it or not, you can go to the library and you can get books. That doesn't cost a lot. And I do that. I have library pass. But I'm also a hunter. I like to go to, when I say a hunter, not animals, not that, but I'll go to a used bookstore. I'll go to a Salvation Army or something like that and look through and see what they got. And then it's crazy because like I just found a book the other day that I've read multiple times. I'm sure you've read it. It's called Think and Grow Rich. But I read the autograph side of the book to the gentleman, and then I Googled the gentleman, and the gentleman owns a software company up here in Seattle. And I'm like, and so I've actually Googled him, and I'm like, I don't know about you, but I would not want to lose that book. I don't know how he lost it or what happened. But
wow.
So so that's, I like that kind of stuff. I like
that's
to
awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. And you're adding steps in throughout your day. You're being intentional, and you're adding something you enjoy, which is the reading aspect. That's awesome. Great. That's excellent. And I know you're doing a lot of things business-wise and fun with your family and whatnot. What are you really excited about that Move Happy can support you with? Any followers that are, attracted to your story?
So what I'm really excited about now, so I sold my businesses, and I've taken a while to figure out what I want to go do. Yeah. And something I invested in, is just an investor, was medical marijuana clinics. And those clinics are not dispensaries. They don't sell product. They're physicians that actually meet the patients, and patients come in, and if they have a qualifying condition, they get their products, they get a license to go out and get product or medicine. But something, and this is based out of Florida. And if you're not familiar with the Florida market, if you want to have a medical marijuana card, you have to give up your Second Amendment rights, right? So CBD became a really big movement. The majority of our patients, and when I say that, I'd say probably about 65 to 70% of our patients are VA vets. And so just put that, you've got people in need. The VA does a great job, but unfortunately, in my opinion, they prescribe, and they give you a product for your problem and a symptom. And I've seen people that are taking 42, 43 pills a day. Like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Your body just doesn't do what it's naturally supposed to do. So for me, something I'm really passionate about right now is the benefits that people are getting from CBD. And we went on a quest, we went on a big quest of creating our own products, doing various things. And I got to be honest, that industry, we got to a point where we had products that people really liked. We have a patient base of about 14,000 that are just CBD only, but that doesn't mean 14,000 people are going to buy from you. And where we got to a point was our level of investment to create the product at a price point that would be fair to the clients that are buying it or patients that are buying it, as well as to being profitable for us, was a $500,000 to $700,000 commitment. And my grandfather always taught me, is he said, listen, don't act like you know what you don't know. And, I've built my business off of advertising, off of search engine optimization and all these various things, and Facebook ads. Well, CBD at this time, you cannot do that. You can't do Facebook. You can't do SEO. You can't do SEM. So I just took back to the words my grandpa told me. He's like, don't act like you know what you know if you don't know it. And then I decided not to write a check, but I did get involved with the CBD company and are helping a lot of people with that.
So that's a lot of like law and state information that I'm sure you had to do a ton of research on. What if people want to know more information or connect with you directly about what you're really excited about with CBD? It sounds like CBD is kind of the businesses that you have. If they want to reach out to you, this is where you plug in your website, and or what's the best social media they can connect with you?
Right. A good way to reach out to me is direct message, which is go through Facebook. My name is Rick Frisk. I've got Rick Frisk, and I've also got Rick Frisk Building the Dream. Another good way to reach out to me is through a website if you want to look at products, and that's just rfrisk.greencompassglobal.com. Okay. So either of those. I'm also on LinkedIn. I've got Twitter. I'm not difficult to find, fortunately. I've been around a little bit. Yeah.
It sounds like Facebook is probably your preferred way for them to reach out to you.
Probably.
And the website.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. We'll make sure to include that in the text when this goes live in a little while here. And final fun question to keep things light and random. I know you had mentioned I know just personally, because we've known each other since like 2015, 2016, you talk a lot about your family, and that's really important to you. What is your favorite game to play with your family that gets you laughing good?
Oh, so that's really crazy. I don't know how to tell you what the game is called. I don't know the name of it just because she always
No
brings it out. But it's, you stick this big plastic thing in your mouth and it stretches your mouth out. And then, yes, you know what I'm talking about? And then you talk, and then you read something, and they're supposed to understand what you're saying. So I have a 10-year-old daughter. I play a lot of games with her. But the other game that we're getting into, and I have a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old boy, I have a 17-year-old girl, and I have an 18-year-old boy. The other game that we're really getting into that I think is it's fun, and my 10-year-old is like this little wizard at it, is the old school Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it teaches me a lot about life, right? Like, they're like, oh, I don't understand. I didn't get this. I didn't get that. And I watched my 10-year-old and I'm like, man, you're getting good at this.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's got a career. You know, I definitely do. It's pretty exciting.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, we used to play, it was like tradition anytime. So I grew up in Spanaway. So anytime the power went out, which was like a lot, we would play Monopoly under candlelight. And then as soon as the lights came on, my brothers would argue and push all the pieces off, and then we'd be done. So
yeah, that's happened here. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's happened here as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Fun traditions. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be a part of the Move Happy Movement podcast. We'd love to have you back for a follow-up session to continue on connecting on your journey.
Awesome. Erin, it's always great to see you, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks.